look for sales leadership. Like, and I mean that from the top down, CEO down, because there's always been a challenge I've seen with engineering leaders. And I'd love your take on this, because a lot of engineering leaders, I wrote a blog post a while ago called The Founder's Dilemma, which is typically based on engineers, right? An engineer starts a business, and even if they're an introvert, right, they I always say that sales is the transfer of enthusiasm, right? So if you believe in what you do, then so they're going to go out and talk to their friends, families, and fools, like a pretty close network, about their product, and they're going to talk very passionately about it. They're going to get 2 or 3 people to probably buy some stuff, and then they're going to be like, "Oh, this shit's easy, man. Let's hire a VP of sales and let's go." And then that VP of sales doesn't have the passion, doesn't have the structure, doesn't have the insights, and inevitably fails miserably. And then the engineer's like, I knew sales was a pain in the ass. Let's go all in on marketing and inbound and that type of thing. And then they reach to a point. So it's almost like the engineer founder, my experience is they almost look at sales as a necessary evil. And when I see that, I get concerned for the organization, because if you think the product's what's going to win the day these days, you're out of your mind. So how do you, two sides of this, if you're a sales rep looking for a job, what do you look for in that type of a cultural thing from an outsider's perspective, right? Because you can't be in there yet. And then also, if you're an engineering founder right now, how do you alleviate the disdain, if you will, that almost some of them are born with when it comes to sales, because the friction has always been pretty strong between the two roles?
Yeah. So on the first part, I would definitely, if I was starting, I'd definitely be looking for a place that had a tremendous amount of respect for the craft of sales, and a tremendous amount of respect for the folks that are driving revenue for the organization, the go-to-market organization. And that's, this combination of sales and success and marketing, this uniform team that's going out and bringing the products to the market, helping customers find these products and then become successful in them. I would look for something where there was a deeper amount of respect for it. And to your point, like I think you can actually see those in the sales leaders and the executives that are part of that team. It becomes pretty clear on how important they view sales and success and marketing to the success of the organization. You can feel it in the DNA. And you know that today, like even when you look around, you know the companies that don't really believe in sales. And, oftentimes they're wrapped up in this wrapper of PLG. But even in PLG, we know that the best performing companies have a mix of PLG and a mix of sales led, right? And actually when they come together, it becomes really dangerous. So I think that is really important on the beginning side. From an engineering leadership perspective, it's sort of the same thing, that I think you have to have a deep amount of respect for the fact that you're probably spending the majority of your time thinking about how to build. And ideally, you're spending a lot of time with customers, really understanding the problems that you're solving and how you can uniquely solve them for your customer better than anybody else. But you also probably need to be self-aware and knowing that while you might be the most passionate about building this and solving the problem, you're going to need a partner and a set of partners who can help go tell your story, who can amplify your voice, who can take all the things that you've done as a founder and enable a army of folks who can support getting your message and your products into the marketplace. And I feel very fortunate, actually. Sprout is founded by 4 folks, 2 engineers, a chief creative officer, designer background, and then Justin, our CEO, he started his career in sales. Okay. He's kind of one of those really interesting characters, though, because he came up and he was coding video games and he was super into tech, and he's our head of product. So, but he's got a tremendous amount of respect and passion and admiration for sales because he's done it. He's got empathy because he's been in the seat. And so I felt like that was a great starting point. And so when I walked in the door and had a chance to spend time with him, I knew right away that he respected the craft because he's been in my seat.
Yep. It was like, and that's such a refreshing thing to, feel, quite frankly. Yeah. Because my first job was IT, like my first company was IT services. I was one sales guy within 50 engineers. And it was just like, and I was trying not to make too many waves or whatever. And I always kind of fit into their, what they were trying to do. Whereas when I went to Basho, I remember the CTO came to me. Like the CEO was all sales all the time, but the CTO even came to me, and our conversations were sales. And he was like, "What can I do to support you?" And from a sale, and I'm like, "Wait, what?" I'm like, you want to talk to me about how you can help me from a sales standpoint and I'm like, and it was like this breath of fresh air that almost everybody started speaking my real language. You know what I mean? Where I wasn't really speaking the same language as engineers were. I all of a sudden got into this environment. Everybody talks sales all the time. And it was like the energy that you could feel and the alignment around that was just something that really woke me up to look for that in opportunities moving forward.
What you said also just rings true for me. And I think I think it's mutual admiration and respect. Yep. And also understanding that there's things that I cannot do that people like Justin or Aaron, who's our CTO, can. And I'm in awe of the things that they can do. Yeah. And I know that I could never do those things. Yeah. And I need them to be able to be the best at what they do for us to be a successful company. And that's reciprocated. And I think that's such an important thing for organizations, that collective respect and admiration.